Hello, everyone, and welcome to We Go Deep with Kat and Sarah. Today, we are going to explore the magic of noticing.
Or another
Or,
thing to call it is the superpower of noticing
so tell us all, Kathleen, why is noticing a superpower?
because it's magical. I mean, all superpowers are magical, aren't they? um, it's a superpower because there's power in the simplicity of becoming aware um, of our experience, of who we are. I mean, that in itself has transformed people, situations without having to do anything more, without any doing, without any fixing, without any strategizing, without any figuring out. Just simple awareness, just simple noticing. Now, and it's not to say that something doesn't follow that, but beginning with awareness is, I don't think anything can shift or transform or change if we don't have an awareness grounded in reality of what's going on. How do you see it?
Yeah, in noticing, we come back to ourselves. In that moment where you notice, no matter what it is you notice, whether you notice that you're in a negative feeling, whether you notice you're sad, maybe you notice joy, but in that moment where you notice, I think we come back to ourselves, or the deeper who we are on a deeper level. And in writing about that a couple of weeks ago, I realized, I think noticing is part of how we're designed to bring ourselves back to ourselves, is my suspicioning. I suspect, because it feels that way to me, like we get off track or we get life adventuring, or wherever we travel to, using our gift of thought. And I think we're always bringing ourselves back to ourselves, and noticing is how we do that.
It looks to me like noticing, which I would also, I think, use interchangeably with the word awareness, like that, the ability to notice, the awareness is ourselves. It is who we are. That's everything else. It just arises within the space of awareness. So now we can fall asleep to noticing, or we can get caught up in the dream of the world of life and think that's who we are. But the awareness of what's happening, the noticing it that in itself, like you were talking about coming home, that is that's it. That's what we are. Is that which can notice.
Yeah, we notice our being, we notice our aliveness, we notice, it's consciousness in motion, maybe, because we all of a sudden become aware that we are alive and that we are being.
Yeah.
I'm laughing silently because I'm feeling this very lovely, radiant mind beingness feeling. And we're sitting in silence on an audio podcast. And so it's a lovely feeling.
Well, I'm laughing inside too because it seems like in a nutshell, we kind of just like summed it all up.
We did.
I'm like, where do we go from here? Okay, we are awareness. We are the space where aliveness and beingness arises. Uh, what else is there to say on the topic?
I
And
don't think.
yes, as we notice that beingness that we are, it's a it's a lovely feeling. It's a lovely place to hang out. Kind of don't want to mess it up with words, but we're creating an audio podcast. Oh my gosh. We got to say something. Say something, Sarah Joy.
Well, we can transmit the feeling silently over the medium of audio. That's funny in itself. Um, well, yeah, there's a magic. Noticing is magic. It is powerful.
Mhm.
We are magic and powerful. Because yeah, I'm not sure I can find better words than I think it's we come back to ourselves.
Yeah, it I that resonates with me for sure. And to me, the coming back to myself or ourselves is like that pure love, that consciousness that we were when we were a 1-year-old baby. Like that's just it's coming back to that knowing that we exist, that we are that awareness, and that carries through all of our life and form. So it does. It's familiar when you talk to somebody about it who's not used to being in a conversation like we are. They know what you're talking about because it is our true nature. It's the essence of who we are, that awareness, that ability to, I don't even like the word ability, but we try to put words to this as best we can, that the superpower of noticing. It's when I guess when you ask someone to notice or be aware, it's in the doing of that you recognize that's who you are. That's the coming home that you're talking about. Like, oh, I can be aware. I can notice. Oh, because that's who I am.
I find there's a lot of peace in that too, because well, just peaceful in the feeling of noticing, but everybody notices where they're at eventually. I don't think there's anybody on the planet who's not noticed at least once. Hey, I'm all caught up in thought, or oh, where did my mind go, or however they notice. We all do. So it's impossible to get lost because we're going to bring ourselves back eventually. So there's a comfort in that. Okay, I can't get lost. That's impossible. And often, if I talk with clients about noticing, or they they will tell me, "Oh, but you don't know. I was so caught up in thinking. I was so down the trail of whatever." And I said to them, "Well, the fact that we're having this conversation about you having been caught up means that you noticed and you're no longer caught up." or we wouldn't be having the conversation. You would be off somewhere thinking thoughts and
Yeah.
and that would be that, and you wouldn't care. So I find
Yeah.
there's a great peace in knowing that we notice.
It is. It for sure there is. And I like kind of how we started out by saying that in the noticing itself, like things unwind, things like oftentimes that when somebody is struggling with something, or me, myself, we think that we've got to figure it out and fix it and do something or avoid something. And the simple act of just bringing awareness to the thoughts or the feelings right there, it can, that itself can be part of the transformation, the shift, the healing, the whatever, you know, or sometimes just for me, sometimes it's just a noticing and staying present and being with like what's really happening, what thoughts I'm having, what resultant thought, feeling, experience I'm having in my body, to just, because I think the opposite of noticing is like pushing it away. Well, it can be, either to fix it or change it or push it away. But to notice, we have to be present. We have to be present with what is now. And that's where that is peace. Even if what we're noticing is a Kathleen up in her head spinning around with some crazy thoughts.
Well, and to push something away or to resist something, you have to notice it to begin with.
You know?
And then you notice that you're pushing it away. So you got 2 times of noticing.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we never stop bringing ourselves back to ourselves and giving ourselves the opportunity to stay there, or yeah, see bigger.
Yeah, I like what you said. We can't not notice, really, because that's what we are, is awareness. So now we can direct our focus, like we can take our focus toward up in the head, the brain, the thoughts that are spinning around. But that's noticing.
Yeah. Well, you did say this would be a quickie.
I said that before we hit
I
record.
know.
I said we both agreed that we didn't know.
Deep and fast.
There we go. I'm loving that. Works for me. I got a hungry dog in my lap and a hungry dog on the floor, so they'll be happy it was a quickie.
Okay, so thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope you notice the magic of noticing.
I'm sure they will. Bye, everyone.
Bye.